This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1233 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks. Brought to you today by Kentucky Performance Products. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is an excerpt from the monthly Certified Horsemanship Association episode on Horses in the Morning. Christy Landwehr and Glenn are joined by Ann Street Joslin, who explains what a canter is and the prerequisites for all riders before they start to canter. And we'll get right to our tip after this from Kentucky Performance Products.
Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant that supports healthy muscle and nerve function by limiting cellular damage. Green grass is the best source of vitamin E for horses, but most horses don't spend enough time grazing to meet their needs. Hay, grain, and winter pasture provide little to no natural vitamin E. To ensure your horse's vitamin E requirements are met, choose Elevate. Elevate contains a readily available source of natural vitamin E. Elevate is cost-effective and easy to feed. To learn more about Elevate, visit the Kentucky Performance Products website at kppusa.com.
So today, because we're talking about cantering and leads, we have wonderful instructors that are going to be with us. So our first one today is Ann Street Joslin. And Ann and I have known each other for quite a while through Certified Horsemanship Association. She is a life member of CHA and a clinic instructor, not only for our standard English Western program, but for our Riders with Disabilities program and our Equine Facility Manager program. She's also a site visitor for us to get your site accredited and a past member of our board of directors. Her experience includes not only the English Western, but also the driving, Glenn. She does jumping and, of course, therapeutic riding. And she has done circuit year-end championships and some judging. So she currently lives in Montezuma County in Colorado, and we're thrilled to have her on the show today. Good morning, Ann. How are you?
Good morning, Christy and Glenn. I'm wonderful.
So let's start with what a rider and horse should be doing as a team well before they even start thinking about cantering or doing the lope.
Well, cantering is like any other skill. You need to learn to do it well, and to do that, you always start with the basics. They need to be able to walk and trot with control. They need to have a good seat and be able to think and act on what's going on in the arena. Riders, both English and Western, should know their posting diagonals. When they start to learn canter, you know, everything happens faster, so you've got to learn those basic horsemanship, good seat, control things first. Well, I want to talk about what canter is. At the canter, and I'll use canter and lope interchangeably, there are 3 footfalls, and footfall means when the hooves hit the ground. So they have 4 feet, and if there's only 3 times things hit the ground, then something has to hit together. So canter starts on a hind foot, and I'll probably wear out the left lead today. So we're going to start with the right hind foot. And that hits the ground first in a stride of canter, and then 2 feet hit together, and it's what we call a diagonal pair. It's the right front and the left hind. And we call that the right diagonal pair because we name diagonal pairs for the front leg. And then the third footfall is the left front leg. Now, you can probably get all tangled up with trying to describe that just by words. So it's good for folks to go watch horses, and then they can see how the feet go and try to watch that sequence. So how do you know if they're starting on the right hind foot or the left hind foot? Well, you just look and see which leg is further forward, and that's the lead they're on. And you can go, oh, the left front foot is going further forward than the right front foot. That means they're on the left lead. So if I want to watch these footfalls and really see how this horse moves, I have to start with the right hind foot. And the trick in watching a horse to see the footfalls is you don't watch the horse, you watch a foot. It goes fast, so you look at the right hind foot and try to get the feel for when that hits the ground. And then you start watching that right diagonal pair, right front, left rear, and see when that hits. And then you can see when the left front hits. So you can start to follow the footfalls when the horse is moving. That's the first way. You have to do it off the horse first to figure things out. Another way I like to learn the footfalls is to do it yourself. And so if you don't actually have to bend over and put your hands on the ground, you can just kind of wave your arms in the air. But you can step with your right foot and then your diagonal pair, right arm, left foot, and set that down. And then your left arm. And you can go really slow to figure those footfalls out and then speed it up as you go.
That's very true. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The third way, of course, is to sit on the horse and feel it, but we'll talk some more about that in a minute.
Yes. So, based on that, I know when we first teach people to canter, we don't even worry about the lead. We're just going to pick up canter. So, what are the correct cues to just pick up canter, and then we'll talk about leads here after that.
Well, to pick up the canter, when we first start, we just try to get them to bump with their outside leg and lift with their inside hand. I like to tell them right away that the timing is important for when to do that. And I'll usually teach people at the walk and the trot to be feeling for their horses too. But it's just outside leg, inside hand. The most important thing about getting that canter in the first cues is that when the horse does it, you go with him. Many, many times I'll see a person get a canter and the horse will go one stride and then trot again. And that's because the rider's going, "Oh man, what just happened?" And he's leaning back in the saddle and inadvertently pulling the reins and asking the horse to slow down. So the most important part of it is to really get those shoulders up and roll with the horse and go into the canter with him. If you don't, he won't.
Most horses would much rather whoa than go, is what we've found out, especially those that we use for first canter, huh, Ann? We don't want ones that want to go a lot.
Very true.
So what are leads? Why do we care? Why are they important? Why should we bother?
Well, leads are for horses at the canter. I have students mix them up with diagonals, and diagonals are for people, and they're at the trot. So since it's a 3-beat rhythm, and one side of the horse's body is going a little bit further forward than the other, we need to pay attention to them for the balance of the horse. If a horse is turning left and his right front leg is going further forward than the left one, they have to cross over and they can tangle up their legs and they lean the wrong way, and it just gets kind of all out of kilter. Horses have leads both in front and in back. So if you watch horses canter, this is important to learning all about the gait. You'll find that the left hind leg also goes further forward than the right hind leg. So a horse needs to be on the left lead, for example, both front and back. And he will be if that diagonal pair is moving. So it's left lead for taking left turns, right lead for making right turns. And we're going to be talking changes here in a while. There's another way a horse can canter, and that's kind of a mixed-up way. If they get off on the left lead in front and the right lead behind, they're really out of kilter. And to a rider, this feels like kind of a jumbled-up mess because it's kind of hard to sit on. And what really happens here is the footfalls become, again, I'm going to be talking about what's supposed to be the left lead. They'll start off on the left hind foot, and then the lateral pair, both legs on the right side move together, and then the left front leg. And that's called disunited or just out of sync or cross canter. And that's one we don't want. That's always a good one to stop and start over. But
it's like riding an egg beater. Doesn't feel good at all.
Left lead, turn left. Right lead, turn right.
Well, there you have it. You can find links to today's guests as well as the CHA at horsetipdaily.com. Just look for episode 1233. You can make sure to have all of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go, all of the time, by downloading the free Horse Radio Network app for your iPhone or Android. Just go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network, or you can subscribe via iTunes. And thanks again to our sponsor, Kentucky Performance Products, and listeners like you. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.